Hey, what's going on everybody? Mqzuba here. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a Izzet Prowess deck for Standard 2021. So the main threats that we are looking to combat in Standard 2021 are adventures, right? Adventures are super popular. They're definitely the best deck right now, whether it be Teamer or Simic or any sort of variation. The value from Edgewall Innkeeper and Lucky Clover is just almost unsurmountable. So basically, the main way to beat it obviously is to play it. But if you don't want to play it, then you have to be able to kill it before it can go off, and or you need a deck that can apply constant pressure. So decks that are good at this are like mono green aggro with the Great Henge or mono white life gain, stuff like that. But I also found that Izzet Prowess isn't a bad choice at all. We can out tempo their plays, right? Like if they commit to Love Struck Beasts or stuff like that, we can always just bounce them, which I mean does create another blocker, but if we're getting in with Sprite Dragons or Riddle Forms, doesn't necessarily matter. So let's go through the list really quick. For Opt, hit your land drops, turn on Prowess, make cheaper Stormwing Entity, turn on Riddle Form, you guys know how it is. Stern Dismissal, and on Summon, I'm going to package these cards together. Basically, your main advantage, because you have access to no counter magic, or I mean very few counter spells are legal in New Standard, and even less good ones are legal. So we don't play counter magic, we just try to outtempo the opponent with these cards. And we also have Brazen Borrower for the bounce. The non-land permanent clause is super relevant as well. Crash Through, cheap cantrip, turns on your cards, gets you through your deck. Also, Trample can be relevant if a Brazen Borrower is blocking a entity, for example. Infuriate, push for the last couple points of damage. Shock, cheap removal spell, turns on Prowess. You guys know how the cheap Izzet 1 mana spells are. Sprite Dragon, one of your better turn 2 plays. Once you play it, it keeps growing unless it gets stomped or bounced. It's a pretty solid card if the opponent can't answer it. To Robber of the Rich, this replaces what would be Dreadhorde Arcanist. Arcanist is still definitely better, but since it's not legal, I still wanted a way to get quote-unquote card advantage in the 2-drop spot, and I like having 10 2-drops in these sort of aggressive decks. So yeah, we're trying out Robber, seeing how it goes. If it goes really poorly, I'd probably just swap it in for 2 more Bone Crusher Giants. I just feel like we already have the 2 damage clause in the form of Shock, and we don't really want to be taking turn 3 to play a creature-sided Bone Crusher Giant. Like, that's not the game plan. The game plan is really evasive damage and out-tempo the opponent. It's a fine card, but I don't think it's the best in this deck for borrowers, because the flyer actually is really good. You can play a lot of this stuff at instant speed, like most of this except for Stern Dismissal, and that means you can hold that up while also threatening to flash in a borrower. And the 3 damage, or the 3 power, certainly is a relevant stat line. And finally, the 4 Stormwing entities. Having this on 3 is really good. It grows every, well, quote unquote grows. It buffs itself every turn just for playing the deck. And yeah, make sure you hit more land drops, stuff like that. 20 lands. The mana base it's fine. I mean, we run the temples and the passages. Not having access to untapped dual lands right away is rough, especially for a 2-color aggro deck, which is why the monocolor aggro decks are at an advantage. But I think the trade-off is still, it's still worth it to be able to play fun, Izzet aggro prowess kind of things. So yeah, guys, deck list will be in the description down below, and let's get into some games. All right. I mean, we're on the draw, but we have turn 2 Riddle Form, an entity, and we're against the mono red. Okay. Well, let's go. Land is good. Let's see how this works out. Right after cutting my... Well, yeah, we should have known it was mono red. Peep these sleeves. Yeah, right after cutting my Bone Crusher Giant, feels bad. And Riddle Form might just be too slow here, but it can do some pretty good ambushing. Should we choose to? hold it back. I mean, I'm actually not sure. Maybe we do take a turn off to get Riddle Form down. We're only under as much pressure as we are because... Yeah, okay, and our opponent... They have a plan. And their plan involves taking my unsummon, which is quite bad. Alright. So how do I want to play this? I think I try to play a bit defensively. I can Brazen Borrower here. Yeah. I Brazen Borrower the Robber, the Rich, to turn the Riddle Form into a creature. Because if I let the Robber attack, then they get the unsummon that's on top of my deck. Okay, there's the Annex. Sure. So I guess I can opt. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll turn you into a creature. Nope. No Robber here. Infuriate. Interesting. Shock. Let's bounce you. I think at this stage I can start becoming more aggressive. Yeah, we are lower, but we have a pretty strong tempo plan. Okay, crash through into shock. What do we think of that? We think that we need more red mana. So let's keep the crash through and get rid of the shock. And get in there with the Riddle Form. If they take the turn off to replay Annex, then I'm pretty happy. So this might be a cleave. If they cleave, I go down to 7. I mean, I guess I go here. It trades. Yep. And we do it on the Fervent Champion to ensure that there is no free equipping. Crash through. Turn this into a creature. Storming Entity. Scry it up. Ooh, land. I mean, I need the land, but I need the red source. But is a tapped red source good enough? It might have to be. Oh, no, it's not good enough. We need a Mountain or a Fabled Passage. If he takes the turn to re-equip the Embercleave, we're pretty happy. If he slams an Annex, that's fine. Looking for, well, either way, we're looking for more interaction. Brazen Borrower, Unsummon, Stern Dismissal, Rimrock Knight, Robber the Rich. Okay. And we find the untapped land, but it's blue, which is a little awkward. Let's see if we can scry towards red mana or an unsummon effect. Another opt. Is that good? I guess it's fine. Like, I'll keep another opt. Let's go for it. And we find the unsummon. Okay, let's check for lethal. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Hold on, so 5, 8. That's 10 plus 3. Yeah, we're 1 short of lethal. Feels bad. So in that case, we hold up Unsummon and Shock. And see if the opponent wants to block with the Robber of the Rich. They don't. Alright. See if that was another red source. Shock would have been lethal. Alright, let's go. We got the interaction for it. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. If they go to combat without slamming an annex, I'll shock the robber. There are plenty of ways this goes in our favor. The evasive damage is pretty strong. Only hitting one red source all game has been awkward. But I guess that's just something that you run into. Okay, equip there. Let that resolve. Goes to attackers. Alright. So we shock the robber. Don't want him to have access to the unsummon. And we unsummon the arsonist. I think they can replay it, but they invested 3 mana into the Emerald Cleave. That's essentially going to do nothing. Yeah, bonk me for 3. That's fine. And my Storming Entity got pretty big, so you can't exactly removal spell it down. Claim. Claim's a little late, and we get it. Woof. Tight race. Alright, well, we got the riddle form. We have both our colors. Sure, let's keep. See if we can sneak out a win here. Turn 1, fetch red. Turn 2, play the riddle form. Go from there. This pet makes me believe the opponent is on Simic Adventures. Island and Sea Creeper. Look at that. Look at that big brain play. Okay, fetch red. Oh. Maybe not. But come on, how many people watching this saw Merfolk Secret Keeper and were like, yeah, he totally was right. Respect to the Godzilla lands. I don't see these very often anymore. What you got? He's looking at the riddle form. Yes, that's a card I have. It does things. Demir. Yes, but we knew that. Maybe some weird sort of Demir Flash. Maybe Sultai, but he just hasn't found green mana yet. Alright, if you hard cast, like, him hard casting a Secret Keeper is A-okay by me. Opt. Yep. Make this a creature, Stern Dismissal. Well, his cards are pretty cheap right now, so I don't think I need the Stern Dismissal. And we find a Borrower, which, I mean, at this stage of the game, probably is better. I'm going to grab a blue source despite being bottlenecked on red. Yeah, let's shock down the vessel. Lifelink damage could matter. And I'm going to decline to turn the riddle form into a creature to save it from any sort of removal spell. Crack this for a island. Alright, what you got? Nope, can't target the riddle form. I was just checking. Yeah. Let's shock face. Have the riddle form become a creature. This might be a... Nope, it's not a Slither Wisp. Slither Wisp is double black. Removal spell. Does it connect? It's not a Murderous Rider. No double black. Borrower. That's fine. we want to hold open unsummon. 1 blue mana, what could be holding up priority? I'm not sure. Check the Temple of Deceit on the guy. Nice. Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay, so this is interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna use this to get 3 damage with the riddle form. I don't think it's worth it. So we just pass, as awkward as it is. We need cheaper cantrips like Crash Through and Shock, and we're just not finding them. Okay, Brazen Borrower casted. See what the opponent wants to do with it. I'll take the damage if he attacks. Opt. Interesting little Dimir pile. Love it. OG Opt. Could be me. Could be rocking the OG Opt. I mean, I say OG. The Ixalan one. Village Rites. Draw some cards. Okay. Anything else? Doesn't look like it. Eat 3, no problem. Vessel, yep. And an entity. So similar to the type of deck I'm running, actually. That's a good Brazen Borrower target, by the way. But theirs is Dimir. Very interesting deck. No, we will not make it a creature. And we are bottlenecked on blue, so I can't cast this. Okay, let's scry then. Unsummon. How good is Unsummon? Not that great. Our own entity. Okay, that's interesting. Man, I really need like a Crash Through or something along those lines. Playing the Borrower at instant speed and having Infuriate to back it up with, I think that might just have to be the play. Taking 4 here and then unsummoning the entity again and taking it from there. I wonder what the black's for. Like, yeah, there's Vessels and Village Rites, but I haven't seen anything else. Am I supposed to trade off for the Borrower? I don't think I am. I think the only way I win this deck is through pure aggression, being red. Not a fan of the lifelink on the card, by the way. It makes ever the slightest difference on a counter race. Opponent deep in the tank. I'm really curious to see what their deck's about. Call. Yep, could have figured out that was coming. Call into Stormwing Entity. So, from the looks of it, they're doing their thing. And the entity. Yep. Scry it up. So they're looking like they feel pretty good about themselves. Let's get down the Borrower. Pass the turn. Alright, we do find an unsummon anyways. Let's say goodbye to the demon. Turn the riddle form into a creature. And get in there. Okay, blocks with the entity. I think we protect the riddle form. Yep, making sure we don't have to use our unsummon right away. Cast our own entity. Scry, okay. These are cards. These cards do things. I think I grab Shock first. Yeah, let's grab Shock first. I do like having both of these though. No more land. Thank you very much. Rankle. That is an incentive to be in the what's it called? Demir color combination. Okay. So this is kind of awkward because if Rankle connects, he gets to make me sacrifice a creature. Discard a card. Okay, I think I go here. We have to let Rankle connect. Big sacrifice a creature, yep. Discard a card. Sacrifice a creature, okay. And I mean, we're about to both be top decking. I'll show you guys why in a second. Alright, well, that really helps him if we're top decking. Just the Rankle. I'll trade my riddle form off for the Rankle. And the Vessel too. Okay, so glad we kept the Shock. Shock, I'll take out the Vessel and turn my riddle form on. Goes for the draw now. Sure. Take that action. Ooh. I'll take the block, and it's only scry 1, and I know what I'm top decking. So I think that we're fine. Let's tap double red. Actually, it doesn't matter. Let's go. Not a land. Oh, Luris. What's good? Plenty of cards to cast off that. Well, actually, I say plenty. I think it's just the riddle form. Opponent on 1 card in hand and the castle activation. Full price entity. Makes sense. 2 to the bottom. Okay. Let's go for the riddle form from the graveyard. Thanks to the Luris. Try and see if we can get in damage with it. Alright. And we hold open on summon. And if we don't need to cast it, we can only scry with the riddle form. He's getting through his deck with the castle, which is good for him. Alright, let's scry. No thank you. Alright, that's a good draw. Bounce the entity. Take that action. And get in there with everyone. Oh, I should have played my entity to trigger the robber. That's a mistake. Opponent at 3. Get an our entity. Opt into another haste threat. I think just the opt is good. Turns on the riddle form. We'll buff the entity. Alright. I think that's game. I don't know what else the opponent could really do. I do like their deck though. Super interesting. Similar sort of strategy to ours. I really like the Dimir Splash. So, yep. Opt. Get all the triggers. Turn my Riddle form into a 3/3. And yeah, that's game. There was no way the opponent could survive. Okay. We have interaction, our colors, and an entity on 3. So I think we keep it. It's a little awkward, but I don't think we can turn this down. We don't mulligan. Okay. Opponent will attack because they're mono red, and that's what mono red does. And I will grab a mountain. Going to need a third land. Alright, and we find it, no problem. Let's see what we want to do. Goes for an arsonist, that's fine. What else you got? I mean, just the champion. Champion doesn't pose that much of a threat right now. I can take one. Is that all? Sure. I'll probably shock it this turn. Yeah, well. Yeah, sure. Shock the champion. Maybe I should have shocked the arsonist, but we'll see. Not playing very mana efficiently in the beginning, but we do have plenty of cheap interactive spells. Crash through into land, I'll keep the crash through. If the land was red, I might have been tempted to keep it, but we'll find land eventually. Maybe holding up in shock. If they attack, it's definitely a shock, and I'm happy to take one. Alright, maybe just double shock right here. Respecting the entity, double shock, okay. Well, it's a good thing the arsonist doesn't represent much damage. Yep. All bounce spells, so we are very alive, but we need a way to pressure the opponent. Bolt Hound. Let's send you back. Let's go. Alright, opt. Storming entity. Robber. I'll take Robber. Robber can eventually start getting me cards. And Robber also gets me damage in. So can't complain there. Looking for cards. Cheap aggressive threat. Does the opponent have another shock? Torbrand, good. Attacks with the arsonist, I assume. Yep. Dismissal. Take one. Okay. And scry here. Don't need more land. I will be looking for something of the opponent's. I help them out by milling a land, no doubt. Arsonist, yep. And I presume Torben again? No. Just the Bolt Hound. Creatures you control get +1/+0. What do I take? 4 here? I mean, I guess I send this back, right? Opponent might hold back on the arsonists. Oh, face is the place. Opt. Okay. I mean, yeah, let's opt. Shock. Shock is good for the Bolt Hound. Let's attack in. Oh, we really are helping the opponent out here. Opponent wants to take the block on the Arsonist. Targets the Robber. Infuriate to save it. Yep. I don't love these plays. I don't love them, but the Robber hitting not 2 mountains is probably one of our best ways back into the game. Okay. And hardcasts the Shield Breaker. So I want the opponent to attack with both, as they probably will, yeah. Oh, I took 1 more damage than I had to. That might matter. Let's crash through. Find a Borrower. Can I hit Notlat? And Robber goes from absolute best card in the deck to just disgusting fail state of hitting 3 lands from the opponent. Just painful to look at. Okay. I can't use the Borrower defensively to protect the Robber anymore. Going to need... Okay, Bolt Hound. Opponent not wanting to commit the full mana. Send you back. We've really just been annoying the opponent this whole game. Wishing we had a sort of, like, you know, entity kind of thing. Shock is good. The opponent really seems to be wanting to, like, cast Bolt Hound as opposed to Torbrand, so. And there they do it again. I don't understand why, but maybe they're worried about counter magic? Like, trying to... I have no idea. Okay. Keep taking 1 from these Arsonists. And throw down the Borrower. I have a weird feeling this is going to get removed. No? Second Borrower. Okay, so we are still in this one. Ripping these cards. I mean, okay, the top 4 deck has been pretty good, but these Robber Mills, I'm just gonna keep looking at them like it's painful out here. All right, let him go for the attack, and we'll send you back. Yep, take the 1 point. Remember, we should be at virtual 10 right now. We're gonna go down to 9. We'll see if that ends up coming up. Second Borrower, representing a 2-turn clock for the opponent. And land. Alright, finally draw dead. Oh man, okay, here we go. Can the opponent kill me or take care of my Aerial Armada? Torbrand, yeah. Puts me to 6. It puts me to 6. Can you kill me? The hold land in hand is a bluff. Like, the only thing this can really hurt us for is Robber, and we only have 1 left in the deck. Breaking Claws, 3, 6, okay, down to 3. Alright. We get it? Oh, we get it. Clutch. I mean, okay, just to put this into perspective, we would have been dead to a shock either way, being at 4 or 3, which is the one thing that would have killed us here. Oh boy. Alright everybody, we are back. So I made a couple changes. I upped the land count to 22 and I cut the Bone Crusher Giants. I always felt like in every situation where I had a Bone Crusher Giant in my hand, I'd rather have just had a land. I cut a couple games where I didn't I didn't get past the second land, and then I ended up getting Ugin slammed on me on what, turn 5 or something stupid like that, and stuff like that. Like, just one horrible game against Team Adventures where we just completely bricked on mana, and I cut another game. What happened? I think it was just we just couldn't draw land or something like that. But yeah, so I upped the count to 22, and 22 worked out really good. We flooded once afterwards, but that's just gonna happen sometimes in a deck like this. I always found myself wanting more cantrips. I wanted cheaper ways to draw cards. So what I would try out, I'll show you guys the card right here, Frantic Inventory. See, it's 2 mana, but we are upping the land count, so it should be fine, and later in the game it can really be a good restock. What I would cut, probably the Infuriates and the Stern Dismissals, or maybe the Robbers at that point. Test it out, test the cards out. Dorat wasn't ideal either all day. I felt like everyone could just remove it. Riddle Form was great. Having the constant threat of a instant speed 3/3 that the opponent had to play around was really nice. Robber, you guys saw its highs and lows. Pretty cool card. But yeah, that's Izzet Prowess. Really fun deck. I'd give it a go. Remember, if you guys stayed this long, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Deck list will be in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.